Happy Monday, y'all. I'm driving around, running some errands today, and I thought that it would make sense to do a quick video discussing shipments out of state and the general sales process if you are an out-of-state customer. Just to help address any kind of understanding and questions that people may have. I'm going to do my best to answer the typical FAQ type stuff in this video. So basically, if you see a truck that I have listed, that we have listed, that you like, the first step obviously would be to reach out to us, and you can ask for any additional photos, videos, anything else that you might want to help solidify your decision. Once you've made the decision that it is something that you want, the only time that we hold a truck is if we have a deposit on the truck. Okay, our deposit is $500, and once we have a deposit on a vehicle, the vehicle is considered sold 100%. The deposit holds the vehicle for up to 2 weeks, and it is non-refundable because obviously lost opportunity if you decide to back out. That being said, I generally don't hold people to the 2 weeks. I've had maybe a handful that have lasted that long. Mostly it goes way quicker. So you pick a truck, you decide that you like a particular vehicle, you leave us the $500 deposit. At that point, the truck is sold, the truck is yours. When you send me that deposit, I will ask you for a couple things. I will ask you for a photo of your driver's license or the driver's licenses of the individuals that the vehicle is being registered to, and I'll ask you for an email address. Typically by that point, obviously, I already have your phone number because we've had several conversations. So then, once I have the deposit, I'll go ahead and enter all of your information into our system, and then I'll generate a deposit receipt, which I will email it to you. The deposit receipt's going to show our information, your information, the truck's information, including the VIN number, the cash price of the truck, and then how much was accepted by us as a down payment. And you'll have that in your hand. When I email you that deposit receipt, I will also send you an email that reviews how to complete payment for your truck. We do not release the vehicle until it has been completely paid for on our end. So, number one, most preferred method as far as payment is concerned is going to be wire transfer. It's seamless, it's quick, it's easy. It's just the best way to do it. I provide the banking information that you'll need in order to complete the wire transfer in that email. You may also mail us certified funds, so it has to be a cashier's check. No company checks, no business checks. Occasionally I'll make an exception for that, but generally speaking, I don't really like to do non-certified funds as a form of payment. Other options are, in certain cases, we can do partial credit card payments, but there is going to be a charge and a fee involved with accepting that credit card payment because it's what I get charged to accept it. And then also it typically delays the finalization of the process because the payment doesn't post for sometimes up to a week on my end, where I actually receive the monies due for the vehicle. At the same time, when I'm giving you the deposit receipt and all this information, I will also give you the shipping quote for the vehicle, basically because what we do is we actually reduce the price of the vehicle by the cost of the shipping. So say I have a truck listed and the truck is $20,000 shipped to you. That means that if the shipping is $1,800, the cash price of the truck is then at that point going to be $18,200, and then the shipping is actually your responsibility. You will pay the shipping when the shipment arrives to you, directly to the carrier. This makes the most sense because it allows for you to have that control with our shipping company and our carrier, and it's just the most seamless way to do it in my experience. So we've covered at this point deposits, we've covered information that I'll need once the deposit is accepted, we've covered various ways of payment. and then we've now covered shipping. One thing that I'll say about out-of-state purchases and financing, it's just not something that we're set up to do, and I can explain to you why. Sorry, my hand's getting a little tired from holding my phone. So basically, when it comes to out-of-state financing, basically a lot of banks, so like, for example, most people want to come with a loan from, say, their credit union, right? Well, most credit unions, when you're buying from a dealer, they want the dealer, me, to basically complete registration in your name with showing them as the lien holder before they will issue payment to me. That's a problem because I only have the capability to do registration in the state of California and Arizona. I do not have the ability to complete registration in any other states. So that makes it basically impossible for me to collect payment, short of basically trusting someone to send them the title without having any money in my hand, which I will never do. So that's why out-of-state financing doesn't really work. The only other options that a person might have would be to get a personal loan. There are a few different personal loan companies that I recommend if you have good credit. For example, Lightstream is a pretty good one. They have decent rates. But for the most part, if you have decent credit and you have a credit union, most credit unions will also offer pretty good rates on personal loans. So if you're thinking that you want to finance or at least get some partial money for the truck that you're looking to buy, I do not accept like bank loan, title loan financing from out of state or for out of state transactions. It's too complicated to get it done. Personal loans are fine. I'm trying to think of what else makes sense here, but okay. So once the payment is completed, once I have the payment in hand or in our account, you can send like a picture of the wire receipt or however you do it. If you mail a check, I will actually deposit the check, wait for the check to clear, and then it'll be considered completed. Once it's completed, a couple things are going to happen. I'm going to initiate an e-signing to you, which basically will go through all your typical standard deal paperwork. So, the buyer's order that shows the cash price of the truck. It'll show how much the shipping cost was, all of the disclosures, warranty information, etc. And then you'll have to basically click through and e-sign that. And then I will email you a couple separate documents that will require for you to wet sign and then send back to me. Those are California DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, paperwork and documents that require for me to have signed copies on file. And then one of them actually is the registration title transfer form. So it basically is the form that shows the paper trail of ownership. You will actually receive that when I mail you the title. So now you've signed the paperwork, you've sent all that back to me. I've booked the shipping because we got the shipping quote right in the very beginning when you left the deposit. I'll actually physically book that shipping as soon as the funds are cleared. Generally speaking, the truck gets picked up. Sometimes it's gotten picked up the same day within 24 hours. Sometimes it takes 3 days, 4 days at the most is what I've seen. And mostly if it's taking longer, usually it's one of two things. It's either the weather, there's crappy weather somewhere in that, lane for where the delivery is going, or you are in some kind of more rural or like less traveled region that there isn't as common of like pickups and lanes going that way. We do both hotshot, like 3-car hauler style guys, and then they're also big rigs, so like the 9-car or whatever it is. Just kind of depends on the circumstance. We always use the same shipping company, Freedom Transport Services. They're amazing. Their customer service is amazing. The owner, Andy, is a really good friend of ours, and he always takes really good care of all of our customers. And he just provides a great service at a great price. So we don't shop around. We literally use one guy every single time because he's dead solid reliable. He's in direct contact with you at that point. Once the shipment is booked, he calls you directly, talks you through the whole thing. It's really nice and seamless. So yeah, we've talked through basically deposit and payment options, and financing and how that all plays out. And we've talked about the shipments and all the paperwork and everything else. So basically, once the truck gets picked up, I send you pictures and video of the truck physically getting loaded onto the carrier. Usually I post them on social media as well, because that's always cool to see trucks going to different states. And then once it's on its way, everything's done, I will send priority mail the title and then the paperwork that goes with the title. And that's really pretty much it. I always recommend for everybody to really know and understand their state's regulations as far as DMV is concerned, because sometimes there might be additional documents that your state might want from me that isn't necessarily a California regulation. So always encourage you to research exactly what you need. But from me, you'll always get the title transfer paperwork and the physical title. Every single time you purchase something from me, that's what you'll get. We only purchase clean title trucks, so you're never going to have to worry about any kind of rebuild or salvage or anything like that. It's all pretty cut and dry when it comes to that. So yeah, the truck will also typically come with either California plates with valid registration on it. And if it doesn't come with California plates with valid registration, you're going to get temporary registration that's going to have your name on it, the truck's information. So that way you should still be able to drive the vehicle in your state before you go to your local motor vehicle department or whatever to get it registered in your name. The only other thing that I say is our carriers are fully registered or fully insured, probably over the top insured, really high rated with DOT and everything. But once the transaction is complete, technically speaking, my insurance does not cover the vehicle any longer. So that being said, I do recommend that you get insurance on the vehicle immediately. So that way, we make sure that all bases are covered. But yeah, that's kind of the long-winded gist of it. Obviously, I'm sure that there's other questions or concerns that people may have. You're always feel free to reach out to us or me via call, text, email, whatever works. But yeah, happy Monday, guys. It's 73 degrees here in beautiful sunny California. I hope everybody has a great week, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.